Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider hitting the subscribe button, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. 5 of Pentacles. You are somebody who is getting things done. I feel like you're hard at work changing things. Sometimes this card comes through as like we're packing up boxes because we're moving houses. You know, like things are in disarray. Things feel like they're kind of up in the air and they're landing how they land, and it's like we're dealing with the movement of material things. Okay, I think that you're somebody who is kind of knee deep in a lot of hard work right now. Whether this is something kind of domestic, if it's with the home, your personal life, it's something at work, it's something to do with friends or family or spiritual work. You're sort of in the middle of something because it needs your attention. This is where we see something that needs fixing and we go and we fix it. There are a lot of things that are that sort of need to come together for everything to sort of manifest properly, right? We even see in this card that there is that light that's trying to break forth from underneath something. And you're doing the work trying to chisel away at things in order to reveal this light underneath, right? You're doing physical, maybe it's physical fitness goals, right? Health-related goals. Maybe this is financial goals. This could be, like I said, it could be work stuff. It could be at home. It could be spiritual work. But you are hard at work trying to manifest, trying to complete the task in front of you, right? Because right after the 5 comes the 6, right? Doing all the hard work to get the success that comes next. Yeah. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. Context is everything. Of course, 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups is how we feel about doing this hard work right now. Maybe we're feeling a little bit of aversion toward the work. We've got a Hierophant underneath everything. We've got a High Priestess. We've got another 5. Well, a lot of 5s, a lot of changes taking place. We have the Lust card or Strength card. It's a Leo energy in the future position. Over here, we've got the Hanged Man. We've got the Sun. We've got a Knight of Wands. And we've got a 2 of Cups. We've got Love at the end. Wonderful. I like that. You know, this seems to me like you're hard at work. Changes taking place mentally, emotionally, and physically or financially, right? It seems to be on every human plane, right? It's just that a lot of things happening in the physical world, and of course we're having an emotional experience too, and we're having a mental experience. I think you're stressed out about it. I think you're feeling a certain way about it. We're just like, we're not so excited to go and keep doing this work every day, right? Whatever this is, but it's leading to something that's very empowering for you. I think that we're manifesting something. We're manifesting almost a wholeness to ourselves. This robust Leo lust or strength card in the future. Maybe this is really about, you know, let's say it's physical fitness goals, right? You're doing the physical fitness work. You're going to the gym, lifting weights every day. Of course, it doesn't feel all that good. We're kind of, you know, we're kind of experiencing, well, maybe at this time, a disappointment. Maybe this is a bit of a sadness or a bit of a sorrow anytime we think, oh, I got to go to the gym again. Oh gosh, I don't want to. And then of course the 5 of Swords, we're trying to reason with ourselves. Maybe this is There's part of us that's making excuses. There's part of us that's saying, I don't really want to. Maybe I shouldn't today. Maybe today should be the rest day. Maybe today should be the cheat day, We're trying to recognize that part of ourselves and say, okay, you know what? I'm stressed out about this. I don't want to be doing this, but I'm doing it for a good reason. I'm doing it because, I know the result. So trying to stay on task here because we know that in the immediate future, we're going to feel really, really good about doing this. Not giving up, not quitting, not succumbing to our feelings or our thoughts and quitting, right, is going to lead us to this state of empowerment. Not only the success of this project or this goal, the completion of this thing, but just the confidence that we're going to gain having pushed through with discipline, with heart, with courage, even when things are difficult, right? I feel like you're very close to the completion of a cycle here. I feel like you're doing the work, and the manifestation is the natural outcome. It's the natural outcome here, okay? Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here with our little sea turtle friend. We're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. Okay. If at any point during this message you feel like you might know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments down below. Let's use our intuition. Okay. Now, let's look around the room. We got major. A lot of major arcana energies. Okay. I feel like this is something that is divinely inspired. I feel like you have this sense that Spirit wants you to be doing this. This is something, even on the path of the dove here, you're cradled by the spiritual energy. Okay. You're being supported in all of this turmoil, stress, and all this hard work, mental, emotional, and physical stress. You're feeling supported by Spirit. You are supported by Spirit, and so it's giving you the strength to carry on, to keep going on this path, because all the love you want is there. It's going to happen, okay? You've got fire. You've got water and water. You got air. You got earth. You got all the elements. Major spiritual component here. I think that this is something, not only is it leading to the physical, mental, emotional results, the manifestation, the kind of natural outcome, but also the supernatural outcome, right? The sort of spiritual growth that's taking place through you and encountering the resistance of the fives and pushing through it anyway. Pushing through the difficulty anyway. This is you doing things even when you don't want to do it. Even when ego says, I'm tired, I'm sore, I hurt, I'm bored, I'm upset, I'm stressed out, I don't want to do it. You're being guided by something deeper here, okay? Something that is leading you toward an integration, right? Everything is coming together. Your mind, your body, your heart, and the spiritual energy that is your support. Okay? And this spiritual energy is supporting you even when you don't feel like anything, like you feel like your own mind is rebelling against you sometimes. Okay? You're in sync with a larger cosmic rhythm right now. Yeah, there is an alignment here with this divine timing. And the divine timing, let's say that's kind of a reference to our High Priestess card in the background. High Priestess saying, it's time to go, take my hand, let me take you into the dark, scary forest, right? Let me take you into this very difficult and stressful time. And our human ego says, no, I don't want to go. The High Priestess is saying, follow me. Trust me. Trust me that going through this is going to lead to this robust energy, this strength, confidence, this capability, this magical power of yours. The manifestation on the spiritual plane, right, of who you're becoming through this challenge. And the thing about divine timing is that the High Priestess, when it shows up and says, trust me, follow me, it doesn't care if we agree with it or not. It doesn't need our approval. Doesn't even really need our participation. Sometimes the high priestess is going to drag us through the difficulties of life. Okay? And the ego is going to protest. The ego is going to say, no, I wasn't ready. No, I don't like it. No, I don't want to go. We've got to trust in this energy. Okay? Again, that divine timing does not wait for us to prepare. It's kind of like the train is at your doorstep, and it's either you get on the train or it's going to keep going down the track. It reminds me of like Polar Express or something, right? You either get on or you don't. But it's not going to wait around. And sometimes we're going to be dragged out of bed and thrown on the train. You know, so maybe it's a little bit more easy, I guess, to kind of go with the flow, right? And that's what we see with our hanged man over here. Now, every time I get the high priestess and the hanged man, I like to put them together to show you how sometimes we have to surrender to the divine. Sometimes we have to, hanged man, surrender to that spiritual light of the high priestess. Every time I show this to the camera, I get a strike on YouTube because, well, they're not wearing any clothes. But I want you to know it's important that we understand how they connect. Right? This is the hand reaching out, and this is us saying, okay, I'm taking your hand and I'm surrendering to the divine. Okay. It's not my fault that they were drawn this way. Anyway, so I feel like there is this kind of surrender. There is this alignment to this divine timing. Of course, the ego is going to protest sometimes. Okay. But I feel like this is very realistic because you're embodying the success. You're not just dreaming about it, you're living it. Back here with the high priestess, this is maybe we're still sort of it's kind of a dreamy kind of card, right? That we're sort of this is the period of time in your past where you were, I don't know, perhaps more fantasizing about this. We're living in the moonlight here, and it feels like one day, or this is something that we've been doing maybe a little clandestinely. We've been doing it, they call it moonlighting, right? Maybe it's been something we kind of do in private. It's something that we've always wanted to do, but we never really leaped forward into it. And I think that now we're living this dream. This is no longer just a fantasy, no longer just a wish. It's becoming real. So you're reaching your goals here. This manifestation is happening. We're going to get to that strength. Going forward, we're going to need the courage. And that courage has to win out over the body, heart, and mind that right now are saying, I don't want to do it. The body is sore. The heart is kind of not enjoying it. And of course, the mind is stressed out about, I've only got so many hours in the day and so many things to do, The universe is pulling you through this difficulty. The obstacle is the way to your empowerment right now. Okay, we have the Hierophant underneath, and to me, this feels like it's almost a recognition. Okay, the Hierophant is the one that knows how to interpret what is sacred. Okay, to me, this is a card of like a wisdom. It's not just knowledge. It's not just me. Oh, I learned something great. No, this is saying like I've changed who I am. Like I've become something more than what I was through this experience. And so to me, it feels like your inner, your I don't know, the prototype of your truest, most evolved self, right, is inside. And what we're chiseling away at through our difficulties and through our challenges of life is we're trying to reveal this masterpiece that's underneath all the surface stuff, all the ego stuff, right? Because this Hierophant is inside of you, and this is like the best version of yourself. That's your truest self. That is the masterpiece that is within you. And all the physical, mental, and emotional work that you're doing, as stressful as it is, doing it with courage and bravery and discipline and fortitude, you are revealing. That's what we're chiseling away here. The light underneath is the light of your truest self. Right? The manifestation not only of the physical goals. It's, I want to run a marathon. Okay, I'm going to do the hard work, and I'm going to learn how to run, and I'm going to go do a marathon. That's the human goal. The spiritual goal is becoming the person that you're becoming through that process. Marathon or no marathon, this is revealing your truest nature, that you can apply this to any goal you want in life. This is that the spiritual goals of who we're becoming, how our soul and spirit are evolving through this struggle toward this very rewarding goal. I think it's going to be very, very pleasurable, very pleasant, I feel like what you're manifesting now is sort of creating space for something greater in your life. Like whatever the goals are, maybe they don't seem like much. Maybe it's just like, I'm just trying to lose a little bit of weight, or I'm trying to fix my diet, or I'm trying to have, healthier relationships or something, right? It just seems rather human, like run-of-the-mill sort of stuff in life. It's goals, I'm just trying to get that promotion, or I'm just trying to learn jujitsu. I'm just trying to learn how to play guitar or something, right? The follow-through with that, the courage to face these challenges, especially now when things seem the most stressful they've ever been, pushing through this is opening up doors for you to do anything else you want in your life. It doesn't even matter. It's an unlimited thing. So that's why I say on this channel very often, it doesn't matter what you're doing. What matters is how and why, and how difficult it is. If it's easy, yeah, it's no big deal. If it's challenging, if it's this 555 stressful, it's something big. It's something that's transforming who you are as an organism, right? A little bit of stress is going to be good. A little bit of physical stress, a little bit of mental stress, emotional stress is going to, it's cardiovascular, let's say. It's good for you. And in a very real way, we can look at this as a physical fitness thing. Right? We're putting a little bit of demand, increased demand on our breathing, a little bit of demand on our cardiovascular system, a little bit of a demand on our body through our physical activities. We're stressing out our bodies, our lungs, our heart, and through that we're growing. By pushing through this, we're kind of becoming the best version of ourselves in a very physical. In the physical fitness example, but that's just an example, right? But that discipline that you've gained, that strength, that confidence that we've gained, well, that's going to be yours to take with you everywhere. That's something on your curriculum vitae now. You're going to take that every place. That's yours to keep, in any realm, in any dimension, in any goal, any work at all, right? So that's sort of the spiritual benefit here, okay? I think it's, in a way, what you're working toward is a bit of a spiritual graduation, right? Your inner growth here is going to unlock a lot of these potentials in your outer reality, okay? Let's talk about the path of the serpent. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. The Hanged Man is the one that has to surrender to the High Priestess, okay? It's a card of surrender anyway. It's a card of suffering and sacrifice. And yeah, we're in this position where we know that if we really want to get this manifestation or this graduation, we've got to take her hand. We got to surrender to this energy. We got to trust in that. Okay? But sometimes the Hanged Man doesn't feel deserving. Sometimes the Hanged Man is this kind of this false sacrifice or false suffering that we might be suffering, but for the wrong reasons. We might be clinging to old cycles, old patterns. We might have this kind of imposter syndrome. We might have this feeling of I'm not really worthy of doing that, or I'm not capable of doing that. Okay. Sometimes the Hanged Man is sort of giving up on their dreams, sort of succumbing to fate and just saying, well, the universe just happens to me. This is just, it's not meant to be. And especially when we're in all these fives, when things are changing quickly and we're getting stressed out, we're getting emotional over it. Very often the Hanged Man is just going to say, I give up. I quit. Because this is this is too hard, I'm too stressed out, this isn't working, it's too much of a challenge. It must be that spirit is blocking my path and telling me that I'm not supposed to do this. That I'm not supposed to be successful. I'm not supposed to manifest this. I'm not supposed to be healthy and robust and confident and capable. And I'm not supposed to be the master, And it sounds absurd. Well, of course Spirit wants you to do that. Of course your own soul wants you to do that, right? Sometimes we have a fear of stepping into our true selves, maybe because it feels like if I step into this role and if I succeed here, then I have to live up to that. If I become my true self, well, now the ego is kind of like saying that's a large shoe to fill, So we've got this hanged man as our energy. Sometimes the path of the serpent is kind of giving us a shadow side to things, whereas the path of the dove is specifically geared toward how we are manifesting our reality. The path of the serpent is very often those unconscious things that might be getting in our way. More than just, more than just the physical things getting in our way, but the emotional, mental stuff. Okay. You have a sun card in the position of your environment. It's important that we are able to radiate our light out to the world. It's important that we have confidence, that we feel like we really belong on this path. Right? You may be someone who has a tendency to kind of doubt your worthiness. Even when you've arrived somewhere, it's kind of like, you get the job, you get hired, and now it's kind of like saying, oh gosh, like, I don't know what I'm doing, It's that kind of that imposter syndrome, that we feel like they must have made a mistake when they hired me because now I'm here and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. We feel like we can't fill the shoes that have been given to us, right? So we have to have this confidence, and we have to take this with us into all of our relationships. This card is in the position of your relationships. I feel like you're stepping into this role that is like, this is why you're here. This is what you're made of, and this is why you're here. You've earned it. You've manifested this solar consciousness, right, where you are radiating your light out to the world, and you can't, there's part of you that may cling to the old cycles, right? The comfortable, familiar. Even when it no longer serves you, it's kind of like this is now let's say you're in the spotlight, or you've gotten the promotion, you've gotten the job, and now you've got to show up. This is the feeling we sometimes have of, I just want to run the other way and go back to being who I was before. Okay. The Knight of Wands here in the position of the obstacle. Sometimes we have a reluctance to get started with something. This is fire on fire. This is kind of the initial motivation, the initial rush that we have getting involved. We're enthusiastic. We're excited, and we're going to jump into it, right? But maybe we're sort of hesitant to do this because we know, first of all, that motivation sort of diminishes with every repetition. Like you throw a ball, the ball bounces, and then it sort of, the energy fizzles out, right? So we're kind of worried that this feels good when I start, but I know it's just going to be, I know that in a few days I'm going to feel kind of down, or I'm going to feel demotivated, or, this excited energy isn't going to last, Sometimes this could be a fear of completion, that we don't want to have this rush of excitement at the beginning because we know that eventually we're going to have to go through the difficult path, the hardship, to really get there. It feels good in the beginning, sure. Right? Sometimes there's a resistance to stepping into a new identity. And I feel that's kind of what is emerging, especially with this sun card in the environment. I feel like this is you out there in the world really radiating your true self out there, and the ego is kind of like, that's scary. I don't know if you're doing something that is sort of in the public eye, or something that is going to be, a performance of some kind, or like putting yourself out there. Sometimes there's this worry that we'll be found out. That if we do get through this and we do manifest the goal, that we weren't really we didn't really know what we were doing, that we really shouldn't be here. But I'll let you know a little secret. Nobody knows what they're doing, right? Everybody feels this way about life. We do the best we can. We suit up and we show up and we radiate our light out. This is a very spiritual card. This is telling me that what you're shining out, what you're giving to the world is really authentically what's inside of you. And this is who you are. You can't help but radiate it out to the world. Okay? So we have to be careful about clinging to old cycles and staying in the comfortable familiar, because sometimes that comfortable familiar is us sacrificing our destiny. Because we want to put an end to the stress here, right? We want to put an end to that stress. And sometimes there's a perfectionism, could be this, that's kind of part of our Hierophant, really. This feeling that we have to be absolutely perfect in order for this to be done, in order for it to be a win, in order for it to feel good, it has to be absolutely flawless. That there's some sort of external standard or measurement that you're going to have to compare yourself to, and if you don't match up, then it's not going to be worth anything, And so we have to remind ourselves that we're not competing with anybody else. You're out here doing the very best you can. You know what? There are other stars out there in your environment that are shining brightly too. There are some stars out there that are bigger and brighter than you. Just as our sun in our solar system is just kind of an average star, maybe a little on the smaller side. It's not the biggest or the brightest star in the whole galaxy or the whole universe, but it's ours, And this is how we think of our true self. I'm not comparing myself to anybody else. I'm being the very best version of me that I can be. Things are not going to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect, It's okay that other people are doing it better. I ran the marathon. Maybe I wasn't first place. Maybe I wasn't last place either, somewhere in the middle, maybe a little bit towards the back. That's okay. I'm becoming the very best version of me that I can be. I'm not trying to become the best version of you or them that I can be, but me, right? With the Two of Cups at the end here, okay? That is love, right? Back to the sun, I think that sometimes this sun card is like, sometimes we, as a shadow aspect, sometimes we don't want to shine our light. Sometimes we have this fear of being seen, We sometimes hide our light. When it's time for us to really shine, we can self-sabotage. We can suddenly, oh, I'm sick, I can't show up. And we have to be on the lookout for that. We all do it. We're all human, I think, most of us. And sometimes we will do that and we won't even realize that, I was about to go on stage and be part of this wonderful performance, but, then I sprained my pinky toe or something, And I came down with a little tickle in my throat and I couldn't do it. And it seems logical, right? But it's a form of self-sabotage. And it's just because I think naturally we have this fear of really being seen, of people looking at us. This is kind of like saying, you're the source of entertainment right now. People are going to be looking at you. So I feel like whatever you're doing is putting you a little bit into the public eye, or at least in your universe. It's something that's making you kind of the center of attention. Okay. Now, anyway, back to the Two of Cups, the love, right? This is going to feel good. All your problems, all of this stress and difficulty is going to end because it's just going to be pure love and pure joy. Okay? Don't try to disconnect from the fives. The fives are very important. We have to love the journey. We have to love ourselves. We have to love who we are inside. Even when mentally, emotionally, and physically it's stressful. But we don't want to disconnect from any of the. Anytime we get a 5, it's Spirit's way of saying, look at it. Look at the stress in your head. Look at the stress in your heart. Look at the stress in your body. It's by looking at those things that we grow and we become strong and we find our strength and our discipline. If we ignore them, then we self-sabotage, then we quit, we give up, we succumb to those energies. So it really is like we're facing that. We're facing the mental, emotional, and physical stress of this situation, because only by looking at it will we know how to respond to it and get through it. You see, it's the example I use is, I'm trying to get back into playing drums again, right? So I got the sticks and I got a practice pad, and my right hand, I'm left-handed, right? So my right hand doesn't really do what I want it to do. It doesn't quite look right as I'm playing, But if I don't pay attention to that, I'm never going to be able to improve. So by looking at what's not working the way it should, by looking at the stress, by looking at the emotion, by looking at the mechanics of it, by facing the difficult thing, the fives that's always something that we don't really want to look at, but we need to. If I look at it and I can see what I'm doing incorrectly, then I can make small adjustments to do it better, to rectify, to correct my technique, And so we have to care about this so much that we're willing to go through this difficult thing. I think the love that you have, the love that you will gain from this, right? The completion of this work means so much to you that you're willing to look at the difficult stuff. And that's why we've got the cards here where we've got them. Okay? Maybe we look at the mystery card. Maybe a 10 of, could be a 10 of Cups, could be a 10 of Pentacles, could be the Empress, could be the Wheel of Fortune. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, we've got the Universe or World card. I think the Universe, I think the Divine, I think Spirit chose you for this. Okay? And I think that you're embracing this path even with all of its challenges, all of its stress, all of its difficulties. This is the card of expansion. This is the card of removing borders, removing boundaries, removing restrictions. You're becoming the best version of yourself. You're becoming the star, and the star can travel all throughout the universe doing whatever it does because it knows who it is. Because again, the spiritual evolution that's occurring because of these difficulties is something that you can take with you anywhere in the world, literally, and use those skills. Right? The discipline, the tenacity, the fortitude, the strength that you gain going through this challenging marathon race, right? Those are skills that you can take into business, into your spiritual work, into your guitar playing, right? Those are skills that are ubiquitous, right? You can use those everywhere. And I think the World card or the Universe card is reflecting that, this infinite expansion, the opening up of opportunities. Let's do a little mantra for you, with the Universe card. We honor the journey. Okay, let's say, I honor the journey I have completed and the truth that we now embody. We're releasing the fear of being seen. We're stepping into wholeness. This is a card of wholeness with grace. And all parts of you belong, your mind, your heart, your body, and the spirit. And we're ready to kind of embrace this, expanded, integrated, and free. Yeah. I think this is a wonderful confirmation. I think it's saying that you're getting through this. And whatever you're working on, whatever you're trying to manifest is going to come to fruition. The manifestation is working because you're pushing through the challenges. You're dealing with the stress, mental, emotional, physical. And who you're becoming on the other side of this is taking you into any number of new pathways, new opportunities, expansion and growth. Yeah. I like it. We're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top and there's a link down below. New readings for Scorpio on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.